Good morning to all those tuning in. This is the Rebel Lemon, and today we are playing The Monster Inside. So, like the subtitle says, this is an auto-visual novel, and we have a few different chapters. I'm hoping to get through them all in one sitting, but anyways, let us continue. The Monster Inside. Oh, my head pounded, ears still ringing slightly. Some of the worst nightmares I've had in years left me feeling like I've been punched in the jaw. But just like any other day, I dragged myself to the office. Oh, what a beautiful art style. There was another notice on the door from Mayor Vanetti's office. Permits out of date. They didn't like me much and were trying to drown me in paperwork. It was a slow month, weeks since I've had any real case to work on. So I passed the time pacing the office, smoking and staring at the mirror in the corner. Safely cornered with an old bedsheet. Oh, covered. I don't dare look at my own reflection. I'm too afraid of what I might see. Afraid someday I might have to face what I really was. The girl came in so quietly, I nearly choked on my cigarette. Mister, please, you gotta help me, mister. Oh, okay. We could ask her to calm down and sit. I could just be direct and say, what can I help you with? Let's say calm down now. Sit and talk slow. Yeah. Okay, thanks. It's just... no one will listen to me. Just tell me your tale. I'm listening. She eyed me with a dash of suspicion as I tossed back a hand full of pills and chased them with a swig of whiskey. I could tell this might take a while. Her name was Lily. She told me she was his mistress. The man all over the newspapers, the infamous banker, Mr. Reginald Farnsworth. Mr. Farnsworth was a drunk, philandering bastard, but this girl seemed genuinely concerned that he had recently gone missing. Less concerned about the fact Mr. Farnsworth's wife had just turned up dead in the Central Park 2 nights ago. Lily, you don't understand. He just couldn't have done it. He hated his wife, but he couldn't have killed her. Everyone thinks it was him, but no one believes me. He's gotta be in trouble. I ain't saying I believe you, but what makes you think he's in danger? Well, mister, Jack, you can just call me Jack. Jack, whoever did this to his wife must have been the one who took him. He would have never left without me. He promised me. Interesting. I'm sure Mr. Farnsworth promised this poor girl a lot of things. Please, the cops won't listen to me, and they want to bring him in on charges. You gotta prove it wasn't him before they find him. I honestly doubt they're in too much of a hurry. Farnsworth had practically the entire police force in his deep pockets. Probably why they haven't found much yet. If they found him brought in, it would be due to the public pressure. Sometimes mob with pitchforks is more dangerous than one man with money. You got my curiosity, but you might not like what I find. I can help you, but we'll get to the bottom of it, don't you worry now. Oh, thank you, mister. Jack, thank you, but please, be careful. I don't think this was just any murder or kidnapper. I think it was a beast. Beast. The word struck me funny. Like when you jaw your elbow on a hard corner. Not a word used these days except in hushed whispers and bedtime stories for children. Oh, they were real enough, alright. They just got better at hiding, controlling their unseemly urges. But I hadn't seen any monsters in nearly 15 years, back when I was still a cop myself. That is an interesting theory. I can help you. I'll get to the bottom of it, don't you worry now. Leave the detective work to me. Let's not jump to conclusions here. Let's say it's an interesting theory. I have a feeling about it. Something tells me you can get to the bottom of it. You're real good at this sort of thing. Oh, that's presumptuous. Sure, can't you see how busy I am with cases? Kinda rude. I replied a little too harshly. Sarcasm wasn't my strong suit. I reassured her some more and sent her on her way. I didn't want to scare her, but I warned her before she left to keep her doors locked and called me if she's seen anything suspicious. I didn't know if she was in any danger herself. Better safe than sorry. That night, I made my way down to the Central Park. It was a long shot, but maybe something there the cops had missed. Wow, that's the end of the first chapter. That wasn't too long. Let's do the next one. The scene was already picked clean by the cops days ago. But I got a knack for finding things others overlook. And that's more of a symptom of a condition. Other less useful symptoms I keep in check. But for the time being, my keen sense of smell would come in handy. Interesting. Are we a beast ourselves? It was faint, but I could smell it before I even approached the police line. The scent was less of a thing and more of an emotion. Seduction. A strangely familiar smell. I expected the scent of trepidation, or maybe even outright fear, but Farnsworth seemed to have been at the height of pleasure when she left this world. Brought new meaning to the crime of passion. Pushing the thought from my mind, it was time to get down to business. Ooh, I actually get to investigate. The burn mark on the nearby tree caught my eye. I ran my finger along the length and felt a chill down my spine. It wasn't just any burn mark. This was, the mark of an incident. Oh! Sorry, not incident, of an ancient magic. Doubtful the cops would have picked up on it. Could Lily have been right? Could something unnatural be at play here? But I was no stranger to the strange. Muddy footprints everywhere. Difficult to pick out anything from the prints the cops left behind in their haste. But cops don't wear $2,000 pairs of carcanos? It looked like Mr. Farnsworth, was there that night and walked away on his own 2 feet. After looking around for a while, I realized the park had given up all it was hiding from me. So I trudged back to my apartment and my head hit the pillow like I owed me money. Well, that's actually interesting. So it's not just a visual novel, but in a way kind of an interactive visual novel. I think I actually quite appreciate that, to be honest. The next morning, I was reeling from another bout of ghoulish nightmares, but I tried to hide my discomfort when I saw Lily was already sitting outside my office. She waited wordlessly as I unlocked the door and ripped down another notice from the mayor's office. I motioned for her to step inside, seemingly afraid of what I might say. She finally worked up the courage to ask, "So, what did you find?" Honestly, not much. Oh, I guess if he walked away himself, he could be alive. So, not sure about beasts, but something unusual. Good news, he might still be alive, and might be right to worry about monsters found as Spill's mark. Okay, so my original theory is that he himself might be the monster. Update, he himself might be the spellcaster. What does that mean? What about Reggie? Do you know where he might be? There were signs he was at the scene and slipped away. Found his footprints. Seemed like he got away out safely. I'm gonna go with the second one here. The one where he slipped away. My tone was indifference towards her as I turned and grabbed a bottle from my desk. A dryness in my throat made it difficult to swallow my meds. But don't you know where he went? Do you think the news this morning is related? What news is that? Haven't you heard? Obviously not if I'm asking about it. Yeah, but maybe you should tell me what you know. Rough night, rough morning. They found the police chief's wife dead down by the docks. They say it happened last night. Let me guess. Chief Amato is missing too. My face might have betrayed a hint of satisfaction. She confirmed my suspicion, but it faded quickly. Amato was a shit cop and a shit chief. He was half the reason I left the force. But now his wife was dead, and I had more questions than I did the day before. The gears in my head started to spin, which wasn't helped by the splitting pain at my temples. I told Lily I needed basically some time to think about things. The night after the cops had cleared out of the docks, I would slip down to see what I could uncover concerning Mrs. Amato's ultimate demise. Well, that is a development, I suppose. The cold air smelled strongly of salt and oil, and could it be that smell again? Like someone had bottled pure arousal and used it as perfume. It hit me like a long-forgotten memory, but the sensual fumes soon gave way to the rush of adrenaline. I knew exactly what the scent reminded me of, and that scared me more than not knowing. I looked down at my hands, shaking. The nightmares, the headaches. No, I was better now, reformed. I had to focus, no jumping to conclusions, follow the evidence. Oh, could we be the one causing all this? But we're doing it in our dreams, perhaps? There was just there the smallest piece of purple fabric, torn and caught in the splinter of a board. The police report didn't say anything about Miss Amato wearing purple. It was certainly a quality that you wouldn't expect down here. Don't see too many high society types around. Nor do you see them flaunting royal purple threads. Red Phoenix cigarettes. Same shitty brand I smoke every day. Everyone's got their vice. I pulled out my pack of reds and lit it up. I could already feel another headache coming on, but looking out over the waves seemed to help me forget. The cold helped me push down the uncomfortable thoughts that had been bubbling to the top of my brain. Something's going on here, and I'm actually quite curious as if maybe I'm the cause of all this. But I guess developments here will tell the truth. I honestly don't remember the walk back to the office. Apparently I spent the night in my easy chair. The air from the docks lingered on my clothes. It was still dark out. No, I checked the clock. How long have I been out? Had I recently slept through the entire day? Next day, a newspaper was sitting under the door. As I stood to fetch it, I nearly fell over. A wave of nausea hit me like a ton of bricks. I steadied myself and regained my composure, but before I even picked up the paper, I could already read the headline. Breaking man missing. Wife found dead. 2 cases is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern. Cops would come asking questions soon. They know I had a history of antagonizing all the victims. I stumbled to my desk and slammed back 3 days worth of inhibitor pills. I couldn't take any chances. I had to investigate the scene to be sure. I threw on my jacket and went to the door. Lily caught me off guard on the other side. Jack, where are you off to? I've been trying to reach you all day. I don't have time to talk. Oh, I've been busy. There we go. Okay, but I need to talk to you when you get back. Stay safe. She gave me a soft kiss on the cheek as I ran off. Part of me wanted to stay and tell her it would be okay, but it would be a lie. Oh, that was a super short chapter. What the hell? The alley was located just behind the high-rise apartments, where Mayor Vinetti and his wife lived. I could tell the police were spooked now. The crime scene was even sloppier than the last. They haven't even bothered to submit the trash into evidence. Okay, we have... It's kind of boring how there's some interactivity, but not much. I was actually kind of hoping for more when I found this game, but it's alright. Why wouldn't they at least look through the dumpster? It seemed untouched. No one wants to do the dirty work. But now I know how to find the good stuff. It really doesn't take long if you know what to look for. Lightweight bags usually mean someone was dumping documents. If you were lucky, they didn't bother to shred them. Jackpot! Shell companies, shady stock trades, bribes. I knew Mayor Vinetti was crooked, but this was unbelievable. And there was more. Letters between Mayor Vinetti and Chief Amato, talking about me, how they were trying to get me to shut down. They didn't like me snooping around crime scenes all the time. Well, they weren't here to stop me snooping around this one. I will say, on the face of it, that doesn't make me look good. Snooping around crime scenes. And now I might actually have motive, assuming I knew they wanted to shut me down. Vinetti's car. If he's still alive, why wouldn't he have left in his car? It didn't make any sense. I honestly wasn't too motivated to find him, but the stakes were too high. And I bet my edging towards the unthinkable. As I searched around for anything that might assuage my fears, I caught the scent again. It overwhelmed my senses with indulging pleasure. It was intoxicating, a weapon used on the weak-willed, a weapon I knew all too well, though it had been many years since I had used it. Was there another like me? Was I being framed? It wasn't possible, was it? I was taking my inhibitors. I was reformed. But the nightmares, the headaches, the memory lapses, I couldn't even trust myself. I started walking back out the alley when something shiny caught my eye. A watch. Not just any watch, though. My watch. How long had my watch been bare? Surely I dropped it when I first came down the alley. I checked the time before I left the office, haven't I? Or had I used the wall clock? I couldn't be sure. I couldn't be sure of anything. So I ran. Oh shit. Things are actually starting to develop. And I'm actually super curious on what might actually be going on. I don't know why I ran back to the office. The cops would probably show up any minute to knock on the door, or knock the door down and cart me away. They would put it together before long. Maybe it would be best for everyone if I simply faced my own reflection. But Lily was still there waiting for me. Jack, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. My ghost? My own ghost come back to haunt me from the past. You're not making any sense, Jack. Come, sit down. You don't understand. You're not safe around me. You look good at... I took a good last look at her. As I was prepared to shove her from the door, I noticed she was wearing the same things she had when she first came to my office 3 days ago. A beautiful purple dress. Odd that I hadn't really noticed before, but it made it seem out of place, out of time. I was frayed around the edges, torn in places. My chair caught my falling as my knees failed me. It was you. You were the monster, succubus. Oh, Jack, we are one and the same, you and I. We are both monsters. I'm simply more honest with myself. There's no such thing as reformation. Those pills you take only make you dull. Beasts like us should never suppress our true nature as you have, incubus. Those men were probably dead too now, I figured. She probably took them to her lair and harvested their seed. So, you've done all this to wake me up? You could say that, though it seemed enough just to have you doubt yourself. You believed you were still capable of such horrors, which means deep down you probably are. You can't escape it. Now, I need you to complete the deed. You took my watch, messed with my head. Oh, don't act like this. I didn't do you a favor. Those men hated you and wanted you gone, and now they were gone. She has a point. I mustered the strength to stand again, moving casually towards the window by the corner. She was right about one thing. I was dull, weak compared to her. If I refused her, and she attacked me, I was a dead man. I had to keep her talking. I never met a succubus who seduces and kills women. Oh, please. Such 14th century stereotype. I don't discriminate when it comes to pleasure of the flesh. But I do still need an incubus like yourself to take the tainted seed I've harvested from those awful men, and plant it among the fertile masses for me. I'm tired of draining my lovers just to survive. I'm ready to settle down and start a family. That maniacal laughter. I positioned myself carefully, making sure she was looking my direction. Sorry, but I'm not your guy. With a quick flick of my wrist, I whipped out the old bedsheet off the corner mirror. Lily was blinded by her own reflection and sucked into the mirror with a painful, monstrous scream. Trapped. Shielding my own eyes, I pulled a revolver from my desk side drawer, aimed it at the mirror, and fired. Now, that was an interesting story. Not too long, not too short. But I'm actually thinking I might actually look into the other games. What do I have to say? I like the story. It was actually really well done. I will say I could have actually used more. And I actually kind of wanted there to be more interactive bits at the crime scene. But other than that, the visuals were great, the music was beautiful, and the story was amazing. Although a little short. But, that being said, I think that ends it off for me. So, thank you for tuning into our frequency. This is the Rebel Lemon, signing off. So, good night and sweet nightmares.